The flowers are finished. The most spectacular 2 to 3 weeks in the peony's year are over, and most gardeners look at those spent blooms and make one of two decisions. They cut everything down immediately because it looks untidy, or they walk away entirely and do nothing because they think the work is done until spring. Both decisions are mistakes, and both will cost you blooms next year. What happens to a peony in the 6 to 8 weeks after blooming ends is more important for next year's flower production than anything you did during the bloom period itself. The energy the plant produces through summer, the root reserves it builds through fall, and the bud formation that happens underground while you're thinking about other plants. All of this is shaped by what you do or don't do right now, in the weeks immediately after the last petal drops. Peonies can live and bloom in the same location for 50 years or more. The ones that do it beautifully, increasing in bloom production every season rather than declining, belong to gardeners who understood what the plant needed in the months most people ignore. The ones that gradually disappoint, producing fewer flowers every year, blooming poorly without apparent cause, almost always have at least one of these 7 mistakes embedded somewhere in their post-bloom routine. Mistake number 3 is the single most common reason experienced peony gardeners lose a plant they have had for years and never understand why. Mistake number 5 is the mistake that looks most like responsible gardening and functions as the most reliable bloom reducer available. And mistake number 7 is the one that compounds for up to 3 years before the full consequence becomes visible, which is precisely why most gardeners never connect it to the decision that caused it. Drop your US state in the comments before we start. Post-bloom peony care timing varies by region, and the urgency of several of these mistakes depends on your zone and your specific summer climate. And if Garden Senior Living is not already part of your week, subscribe before this video ends. The decisions that determine next year's blooms start now, not in March. Leave without subscribing, and the video covering what comes next may not find you. 7 mistakes. Let's go through every one. The impulse is completely understandable. The peony has finished blooming, the spent flower heads look ragged, and the foliage looks exactly like something that should be cleaned up. Cutting it down feels like tidying the garden, which is something most gardeners want to do naturally, as a space transitions out of its peak display. That impulse, acted on immediately after blooming ends, removes the energy factory the plant needs for the next 12 months. Peony foliage is a functional photosynthetic engine. From the moment the last flower fades through the end of the growing season, the leaves convert sunlight into carbohydrates that travel directly into the root system, building the reserves that fuel next year's bloom. A peony that loses its foliage in June enters the following season with significantly less root reserve than a plant whose foliage was left to complete its summer work. The consequence is not immediate. A peony cut down in June will return the following spring. But it returns with reduced vigor, producing fewer and smaller blooms than it would have if the foliage had been allowed to complete its summer work. Repeated early cutback over several seasons progressively depletes the root reserves, a process that shows up as the plant gradually producing fewer blooms each year until gardeners conclude the plant has simply run out of steam, when the actual cause was the June cutback repeated season after season. The correct timing: leave peony foliage standing through the entire growing season. The leaves can and should remain until the first hard frost kills them naturally, or in milder climates until they yellow and die back on their own. The plant determines when foliage is no longer productive, not the calendar and not the gardener's aesthetic preference. Deadhead the spent flower heads promptly. Removing individual spent blooms is appropriate and does not hurt the plant. The foliage stays. Mistake 2 is the opposite impulse from mistake 1, and it is equally costly in a different direction. Leaving spent peony blooms on the plant allows the plant to redirect significant energy into seed production, energy that would otherwise go into root reserve building. Peony seeds are large and resource-intensive to produce. A plant devoting resources to seed set in June and July is a plant devoting proportionally less resource to the root energy reserves that fuel flowering. Over multiple seasons of allowing full seed development, this produces measurably reduced bloom output compared to plants that are consistently deadheaded. The practical sign that a peony is devoting significant energy to seed production is the appearance of those distinctive seed pods, green, waxy pods that develop at the base of the old flower. They look interesting, and some gardeners leave them intentionally for that reason. The cost is real and cumulative. Each pod represents energy diverted from root development. Deadheading also prevents the development of Botrytis blight, the gray mold fungal disease that is the most common disease problem in peony beds. Spent flower petals that fall and sit on stems and crowns in the warm, humid conditions of early summer are a primary infection site for Botrytis. Removing spent heads before the petals fall and accumulate significantly reduces the infection pressure. The correct approach: remove spent flower heads promptly as blooms finish. Cut the stem down to the nearest healthy leaf, not to the ground. This removes the seed development resource drain, removes the primary Botrytis infection site, and tidies the plant's appearance without sacrificing any of the foliage the plant needs for summer energy production. Mistake 3 is the single most common reason experienced peony gardeners lose a plant they have had for years and never fully understand why. Because Botrytis blight, when it establishes in a peony bed, does not announce itself clearly until it has already caused significant damage. Botrytis peoniae begins on spent petals and deteriorating tissue, but does not stay there. Given warm, humid, still conditions, typical June and July in most American climates, it moves from spent petals into living stems and then into the crown at the base of the plant. Crown infection is where plant death begins. A peony that dies suddenly in midsummer or fails to return the following spring has, in a majority of documented cases, been killed by Botrytis, given the opportunity to reach the crown. The early symptoms are specific and recognizable once you know what to look for: buds that blacken and fail to open, stem bases that develop a grayish fuzzy coating, and flowers that collapse into wet, rotted tissue rather than fading cleanly. All of these are Botrytis in active progression. A gardener who sees these symptoms and does not act is watching the pathogen work its way toward the crown. Prevention is considerably more effective than cure. The conditions Botrytis requires to develop are warmth, humidity, still air, and organic material to establish on. Removing every piece of fallen flower petal and deteriorating plant tissue promptly denies the pathogen its starting point. Ensuring adequate air circulation around and through the plant, which requires appropriate spacing and avoiding overcrowding, reduces the humidity at the crown level. In beds that have had Botrytis in previous seasons, a preventive copper-based fungicide application at bud emergence in spring, before visible symptoms appear, is the most effective management tool available. Zones 3 through 8. Botrytis pressure is highest in the humid southeast and mid-Atlantic states, but no zone in Peony's range is immune. Mistake 4 is less common as a recurring annual error and more common as a single decision with multi-year consequences, typically made when a well-intentioned gardener divides a peony immediately after it finishes blooming because the plant is visible, accessible, and the timing feels logical. Dividing or transplanting immediately after bloom is one of the most reliable ways to eliminate flowering for the next 1 to 3 years. The post-bloom period is precisely when the root system is drawing maximum energy from the foliage to replenish reserves depleted by flowering. Dividing the root during this phase interrupts that energy transfer, sends the plant into recovery mode, and typically produces vigorous foliage the following spring with minimal to no bloom, followed by a gradual recovery that can take 2 to 3 seasons. The established guideline: divide and transplant peonies in early fall, typically September through October, in most American zones, exists precisely because of this mechanism. Fall division allows the root system to re-establish through cooler fall temperatures with reduced metabolic demand before winter dormancy, completing the critical energy storage phase without the compounding stress of division during active summer growth. The correct timing: if division is needed, which is less frequently necessary than most gardeners assume, since peonies genuinely do not require frequent division, wait until late summer or early fall when foliage has begun to show natural decline. Never divide or transplant immediately after bloom. Mark the plant if needed and return in September. Mistake 5 is the mistake that looks most like responsible gardening and functions as the most reliable bloom reducer available if applied on the wrong schedule. Nitrogen drives vegetative growth. When a peony receives a heavy nitrogen application in June or July, it does not direct that nutrient resource into root energy storage or bud set development. It directs it into producing more leaves, lush, vigorous, abundant foliage that looks exactly like a healthy, thriving plant. The gardener sees the lush response and concludes the fertilizer is working. What is actually happening beneath that lush foliage? Bud development, which depends on the plant's energy building and carbohydrate storage processes rather than on active vegetative growth, is being suppressed relative to what it would be in a plant not receiving heavy nitrogen stimulus. Next spring, the plant returns with vigorous foliage and reduced bloom, which the gardener then sometimes addresses by applying more fertilizer, compounding the problem. The fertilizer schedule that supports peony bloom is minimal and timed: a single low nitrogen, balanced or phosphorus-forward application in early spring, before or at very early shoot emergence. Nothing further through summer. The post-bloom period benefits from no additional fertilizer as the plant focuses on energy storage rather than vegetative production. The correct approach: fertilize once in early spring, lightly, with low nitrogen balanced or bone meal. Nothing in summer. Nothing in fall, except possibly a thin compost mulch applied at a safe distance from the crown. The plant builds the reserves it needs for flowering from photosynthesis, not from fertilizer applications made while it is trying to do that work. 5 mistakes in. If you've recognized even one of these in your current peony routine, the blooms you see next May are already being shaped by what you do or don't do between now and October. That is the specific point most peony content misses. The decisions that produce extraordinary bloom next year are not the decisions made in March when the first red shoots emerge from the soil. They are the decisions made in June, July, August, and September, when most gardeners have mentally moved on from peonies entirely. Garden Senior Living covers this kind of before it matters gardening guidance every single week. The decisions that determine next year's results start now. If this video is changing your post-bloom routine, the subscribe button is the decision worth making before you close it. Drop your state and zone in the comments. Regional timing for the final 2 mistakes particularly varies by climate. Mistake 6 is the most direct predictor of next spring's disease pressure, and the most commonly skipped step in fall peony care. As peony foliage declines and dies back in fall, it carries with it any fungal spores, disease residue, and pest material that accumulated through the growing season. Left on the soil surface through winter, this declined foliage creates the inoculum source that generates next spring's disease pressure. Botrytis spores specifically overwinter in declined peony tissue and soil surface debris, emerging in spring at exactly the moment when bud emergence creates vulnerable new tissue for infection. The difference in spring botrytis pressure between a thoroughly cleaned bed and one where foliage was left in place through winter is documented and significant. The fungal population from overwintered debris is the direct source of the bud blackening and stem collapse that appears in April and May before summer conditions even begin. This cleanup must happen at the right time, after the first hard frost has killed the foliage, not before. Cutting foliage while it is still green, even at the point where it begins to look ragged, removes foliage that may still be contributing to root energy storage. Wait for frost to confirm the foliage is fully done, then clean up completely, down to the soil surface. Every piece. The correct approach: after the first killing frost, cut all peony stems to within 1 inch of the soil surface. Remove every bit of foliage, stem, and flower material from the bed and dispose of it. Bag for trash collection or burn if local regulations permit. Do not compost peony debris from beds that have had any disease activity. Apply a thin layer of compost or mulch after cleanup, keeping it 1 to 2 inches away from the crown. The crown needs winter air circulation, not mulch packed against it. Mistake 7 is the one that compounds for up to 3 years before the full consequence becomes visible, which is precisely why most gardeners never connect it to the decision that caused it. Peony eyes, the reddish growth buds visible on the root at the time of planting, must be positioned no more than 1 to 2 inches below the soil surface for the plant to bloom reliably. This is one of the most precisely documented planting requirements in American horticulture, consistently confirmed across university trial gardens, extension service publications, and decades of professional and amateur observation. Plant those eyes at 2 inches, reliable bloom. Plant them at 3 inches, reduced bloom. Plant them at 4 inches. The plant may grow vigorously for years, with essentially no flowers at all. The relationship between planting depth and bloom production in peonies is that specific and that linear. A peony planted too deep does not fail immediately. The root system is viable, and the plant emerges with full, healthy foliage. Then May arrives and produces 1 or 2 flowers, or none at all, and the gardener concludes it is establishing slowly. The following spring, same vigorous foliage, same minimal bloom. By year 3, a patient gardener is still waiting, while a less patient one has removed a plant that was structurally healthy and capable of flowering, planted 1 inch too deep. The correction is simple but requires the timing established in mistake 4. Replant at the correct depth in early fall, positioning the eyes no more than 1 to 2 inches below the final soil surface level. One careful fall replanting at the correct depth frequently produces significantly improved bloom the following spring, even in plants that have been underperforming for multiple seasons. The correct approach. If a peony has been in the ground for 2 or more years and is producing abundant foliage but minimal bloom, and none of the other mistakes on this list appear to explain it, check the planting depth before concluding the plant is simply a poor performer. In most cases, it is not. It is correctly planted 1 inch too deep. 7 post-bloom peony mistakes, and what to do about each one. Cutting foliage too early. Leave all foliage standing through the growing season until frost kills it naturally. The leaves are building root energy reserves for next year's bloom. Deadhead only the spent flower heads. The foliage stays. Not deadheading at all. Remove spent flower heads promptly as individual blooms finish, cutting to the nearest healthy leaf, not to the ground. Prevents seed set energy drain and removes the primary Botrytis infection site before petals fall. Allowing Botrytis to establish, remove all spent petals and deteriorating tissue promptly. Maintain air circulation. In beds with previous disease history, preventive copper fungicide at bud emergence next spring. Botrytis moving from spent petals to crown is the most common cause of sudden peony loss. Dividing or transplanting right after bloom. Do not divide or transplant from June through August. Mark clumps that need division and return in September or October. Fall division allows root re-establishment with minimal metabolic demand and preserves bud set for the following season. Heavy nitrogen fertilizing in summer. Single low nitrogen application in early spring only. No summer fertilizing. Nitrogen in June and July drives foliage at the expense of the bud development that produces next year's blooms. Inadequate fall cleanup. After first killing frost, cut all stems to 1 inch above soil. Remove every piece of foliage and stem from the bed. Dispose. Do not compost. Overwintered debris is the direct inoculum source for next spring's Botrytis pressure. Planting or leaving eyes too deep. Eyes no more than 1 to 2 inches below the soil surface. If a vigorous, healthy peony consistently produces minimal bloom, check and correct the planting depth in fall before concluding the plant is simply a poor performer. The peony is one of the most rewarding long-term investments in American gardening, getting more spectacular every year for decades when cared for through the seasons most gardeners overlook. The ones producing 80 or 100 blooms per season belong to gardeners who understood that the 6 months after blooming ends is where the following year's flowers are built. None of these 7 mistakes requires complicated correction. Every fix is either a timing change, a task under 30 minutes, or a decision to stop doing something. Getting these things right produces a peony planting that genuinely improves every season. More bloom, more vigor, less disease, rather than one that gradually disappoints despite being a healthy plant in capable hands. Which of these 7 did you recognize in your own routine? Drop the number in the comments, along with your state, and tell me how long you've had the plant showing the symptom. If the timeline matches the mistake, and in most cases it will, that connection is genuinely useful to every peony gardener reading below this video. If this video changes what you do in the next 30 days in your peony bed, the like button is how you help other peony gardeners find it before their own post-bloom window closes for this season. Garden Senior Living publishes a new video every single week. The decisions that determine next year's garden, made now, when it matters. Subscribe so the next one finds you automatically. See you then. Garden Senior Living. Next year's blooms are decided now, every week.